The Legendary Sannin are among the most prominent examples of the Generation Xerox trope within the Naruto franchise. Both groups possess a clown who ends up being the most important of them all, Naruto/Jiraiya. Both teams have a strong-willed woman who is not just strong in mind, but body too, and practices medical ninjutsu, Sakura/Tsunade. And then there's the last one, which appears to be a cold and dark character, who through his need for power is driven to betray not only his village, but his friends, leading to the deaths of countless innocents along the way, as they end up consumed by their own hatred, Sasuke/Orochimaru. This trope has played out well, as the members of Team 7 have even set off to train with their counterparts, having a unique relationship with each that reflects who they are. But something does make me wonder, what if it didn't have to be this way? What if Orochimaru never became evil? What if they stayed close? What if the death of Minato Namikaze awakened something in them which caused them to desire to help the child he left behind? Well, that's what I'd like to explore in this video. So please sit right back and get comfortable, because we're going to dive right into this story. But first, welcome to the Amagi. Only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. The death of Minato Namikaze was something nobody saw coming. Minato was strong, fast, and transcended the skills of his master by leaps and bounds. That day, when Jiraiya decided to be Naruto's godfather, he never actually planned to do it. He didn't expect to be thrust into that situation. He didn't want this responsibility, but they were literally naming the child after one of his characters to show their admiration. What was he supposed to do? Say no? But despite this, he was a busy man, and he wasn't good at raising kids. I mean, look at the Ame orphans. That wasn't his best moment, and because of him, they ended up dead. Well, most would say this wasn't true, but that didn't stop Jiraiya from taking responsibility for it. They were all dead now, and it felt like his fault, and he was gonna blame himself regardless of whether he actually was responsible or not. And now, with that feeling lingering over him, you seriously think Jiraiya was going to easily just take this on? No, you're crazy. But could he really say no? He had made a promise to his student, and now his student was dead. But he wasn't healthy enough right now. He couldn't be expected to just take this on by himself. And so, in a panic, he called up the only people he knew he could trust. "Hey, Sue? Yeah, it's me. I was wondering if you could help me out with something," he said. There was talking on the other side. "Sue, it's about Minato. Yes, I know you know what I'm going to ask, but I don't know what to do. I'm locked into something, and I can't get out. Yeah, I know. Look, I'm sorry, but I don't know what to do with a newborn. At least when it was Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan, they were already able to take care of themselves, mostly. I've never changed a diaper. I've never had to deal with anything like this. Yeah, I know you're busy, but do you really trust me to take care of a baby by myself? Me?" There was silence on the other end for a second. "Fine, I'll help," she said. Jiraiya thanked her, but he knew this wasn't going to be enough. While Tsunade was a woman and had all the instincts, Jiraiya knew that she was also a warrior, rough with a bad temper. "Maybe I need a little insurance policy. I don't really want this coming back and biting me," Jiraiya said. Picking up his phone, he called another number. "Hey, Orochimaru, you busy? I got a favor to ask." They all reached Konoha at about the same time. Tsunade was shocked. "What's Orochimaru doing here?" "I thought we could use all the help we could get," Jiraiya said. Tsunade scoffed. "You really think that's a good idea? He might turn the baby into a lab experiment," she said. Orochimaru slowly began to hide the test tubes he had brought with him. "Don't be preposterous," he said. "I'd never experiment on children." "Listen, Sue," Jiraiya said. "We're not all gonna be able to stay close to the child at all times. We've all got missions and business to take care of. If we're all able to at least be nearby when the child needs us, I think it'll be easier on everybody." Tsunade didn't feel comfortable with this. The idea of leaving an infant in the care of a notorious pervert and a mad scientist was painted in 7 different colors of bad idea. But what could she say? She wasn't even the godmother. Jiraiya was the godfather. And all the while, she began to question the sanity of Minato and Kushina. You know what they say, young people are dumb, she thought in her mind. But all the same, that didn't change the reality. All Tsunade could do was go along with it and try to limit the damage that the two of them could do. And so they would go to visit Hiruzen, who was supposed to see all 3 of his students attending this meeting. "Jiraiya, I thought this was only going to be you." Tsunade laughed a bit. Sorry, the idea that Jiraiya could raise a child alone was so preposterous that I couldn't help but laugh, she said. I'm just here to make sure Tsunade doesn't drop him, Orochimaru said. Hiruzen couldn't help but laugh. Secretly, deep down he was pleased to see his students getting together for such an important mission. Where is the baby anyway? Jiraiya asked. We have him in the back. We'll have him brought to you at once, but before we do, let me just ask, are you all sure you can handle this? Well, now that you mention it, Jiraiya said before being cut off, I wasn't talking to you, Godfather. I was talking to those who are not morally obligated to do this. Define morally obligated, Tsunade said. Leaving the child in Jiraiya's hands alone seems about as morally wrong as anything else. Honestly, I'm just here to watch. I'm not obligated to stay, just to observe, Orochimaru said. Hiruzen nodded. All right then. He then walked into the back for a while. Coming back with a small little diapered bean with blonde hair, he spoke. Now, just to make sure you're all aware, this child is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, Tsunade exclaimed. You kind of forgot to mention that, Jiraiya, she shouted. It didn't seem important at the time. How is, oh, this kid is strapped with a frickin' nuclear bomb not important? 'Cause I didn't expect it to go off anytime soon. Does this change your mind? Hiruzen asked. Tsunade was quiet for a moment. Looking at the child, and then at her peers, and then back to the Hokage, she finally spoke. No, sir, it doesn't. Naruto still deserves to be cared for by a woman rather than two morally questionable men. I'm not that morally questionable, Jiraiya said. I'm morally questionable, Orochimaru said, and I'm okay with that. Everyone in the room stared at Orochimaru, who then responded to their gazes. What? I'm at least honest. It's not like the kid's gonna grow a third leg under my care. I won't experiment on him unless it's absolutely necessary. Just give me the runt already, Tsunade said. Taking the baby up in her arms, she smiled. Oh, he's so cute, she said, holding him up above her head. The baby spit up on her face. I take it all back. Jiraiya, you're on your own, she said, handing the child over to the white-haired man. Jiraiya pulled him up. He's just excited is all. He bounced around, rubbing Naruto's back, coaxing a burp. Tsunade wiped her face clean of the foul substance with the towel that Hiruzen provided. Hiruzen then looked to each of them and spoke. I have an assortment of things in the back that you're going to need. I've got a crib, some toys, food, and all of the clothes he'll ever need over the next few months. We'll be sure to deliver anything else you need for his care, as necessary. Thank you, Jiraiya said. If there's anything you need, feel free to give me a call. I've got plenty of support options for you. Now, feel free to go. I've got an apartment all set up for you. You can stay there as you please. Getting to the apartment, they were all surprised by how small it was. Hiruzen expects us all to live here? Tsunade questioned. There's only one other bedroom besides the babies, and there's only one bed. Two, actually, Orochimaru said. This couch seems to fold out. You two are sharing that, Tsunade said. Well, I mean, let's just be honest. Hiruzen didn't know I'd be asking for so much help. He only expected one person, two at most. I'm sure if you ask him, he might be able to make some preparations for a new apartment. Preferably one that doesn't see me spooning with snake eyes. What's the matter, Jiraiya? Am I too sexy for you? Orochimaru asked. You're definitely too something for me. It was at about this time that there was a knock upon the door. Opening up, Jiraiya saw a shinobi with a clipboard and boxes. Wow, that was quick, Jiraiya said. Bring it all inside, we'll get it set up. And so the shinobi brought all the packages in and left them sitting on the floor. Jiraiya signed off on the delivery and let the man go. Turning back, he spoke. All right, first things first, let's get this crib set up. Jiraiya was the one doing most of the construction when it came to building the crib. Orochimaru was the one who was just standing there, critiquing him the entire time. In the background, Tsunade was tending to Naruto, bouncing him around, baby talking to him and making faces, all just to hear the baby laugh. I don't think that goes there, Orochimaru said. You're not the one reading the instructions, Jiraiya replied. I glanced them over, Orochimaru said, sipping a little coffee from a mug that said World's #1 Dad. See, the C peg goes into the J hole. No, C peg goes in the L hole, Jiraiya said as he tried putting the two together. Orochimaru took another longer sip from his coffee. Jiraiya saw the whole thing fly apart as the tension was too great to hold together. See, told ya, Orochimaru said. If you're so smart, then why don't you put it together? Jiraiya asked. Because that's a job for the #2 dad in the world. #1 dad supervises. #1 dad? You haven't even touched the kid since we got here. No, I haven't. but my mere presence has caused the child's IQ to rise by at least 3 points. My smartness aura has that effect on babies. Bet you don't even know how to change a diaper, Jiraiya said. Do so, Orochimaru said, sipping contentedly from his mug. I do know how to change a diaper and how to build a crib. Oh yeah, Tsunade said, and boy do I have good news for you. Lifting the child up, she sniffed its diaper. You get to prove it. Orochimaru smiled, pulling out a mask and latex gloves. Scrub up. Jiraiya could hardly stay in the room, he was gagging so hard. Wipe, Orochimaru said. Wipe, Tsunade provided. Powder. Powder, Tsunade parroted, giving it over to Orochimaru, who would shake it on. Diaper. Diaper, she provided it. Orochimaru carefully placed it on, closing the diaper up and disposing of the old one. Raising the baby up, he spoke. Prognosis is good. I think he'll survive. Handing the child over to Tsunade, she looked toward Naruto and nodded. Good job, Rochi. I was wrong to ever doubt you. Pulling the gloves off, he offered a bow. Nothing's too technical for a mad scientist. Good. Jiraiya, you're fired. Orochimaru, you're now on crib duty, Tsunade said, drawing an audible ha from Jiraiya in the background. Orochimaru didn't seem too pleased about this, but he took it as a challenge to prove not only that he was smarter than Jiraiya, but faster too. Putting the crib together in record time, he presented it to his team. Wow, Orochimaru, maybe you really are super dad, or whatever it was you and Jiraiya were talking about earlier. Yeah, Jiraiya said. He's so talented, maybe we should just give all of our responsibilities to him. Now wait a minute, Yeah, maybe we should, Tsunade said. After all, we wouldn't want to deprive him of his life's purpose. And here I thought snakes were bad parents, Jiraiya said with a smirk. Ha ha, very funny. After this, they spent their first night together in the apartment. Just as she had said, Tsunade took the bed, and Orochimaru took the pull-out couch. But damned if Jiraiya was gonna be sleeping with a man. He wouldn't be caught dead in a bed next to another guy. He was a man's man. He slept in beds either by himself or with a hot lady. More commonly the former. Almost exclusively the former. Yeah, Jiraiya wasn't exactly super popular. But he elected to take 2 chairs, one to sit in and another to kick his legs up on. He had trained himself to sleep in uncomfortable positions, as he knew sleep was necessary for completing missions. And that's what they were doing right now. Kinda. A mission. Except Jiraiya wasn't asleep. He was still awake, and he hadn't stopped being awake since the night before, just staring up at the popcorn ceiling. He tried counting each flake and turning them into constellations like the stars of the sky. He kept himself entertained by pretending his head was the pendulum of a clock that he heard ticking in the background. He tried doing push-ups, sit-ups, drinking hot milk. Nothing worked. He needed to admit he wasn't in his prime anymore. He was just a bit away from being 40, and his time on the battlefield left him feeling it deeply. His back just wasn't what it used to be ever since he got hurt during the Third Shinobi World War. He remembered that day like it was yesterday. Fleeing from an enemy Jinchuriki, a shockwave from a blast caused Jiraiya to miss his step on a tree limb, causing him to fall at least 15 feet to the ground below, head first. The way he'd landed caused him not only to rip muscles in his back, but also caused him to herniate a couple of his vertebrae. It was Minato who stabilized him and carried him back to Konoha. Thankfully, it didn't sever the spinal cord, else Jiraiya would have been paralyzed from the waist down. It wasn't an impossible fix, but it certainly was painful, especially when he didn't get to lay down in a bed to sleep like little Mr. Milksnake back there. He'd considered sneaking into bed with Tsunade, but the last time he tried to pull something as stupid as that, he ended up with countless ruptured organs. I never realized how abused I am, he said as he continued to look at the popcorn ceiling. As if his boredom summoned it though, he heard distant crying. Sitting up, he could tell it was coming from Naruto's room. Getting up, he walked to the door and opened it to see the little blonde thing kicking and screaming. Please don't have crapped yourself, he begged, as though Naruto were in any sort of mood to answer his request. Closing the door behind him, he walked over to the baby and picked it up. Giving a slight sniff, he was pleased to tell that Naruto didn't poo, but just to be sure he didn't pee, he changed the diaper anyway. Once that was gone, the baby still cried. He had no idea what it was. Is your belly hurting? Got gas? He put the baby against his chest and began to bounce around, rubbing up and down along the spine to help coax out any sort of discomfort the child must have been experiencing. The baby quieted a little, but kept whimpering. It wasn't long after that Tsunade entered from another door. Look at you, taking initiative, she said. I was still up. I didn't want him to wake anyone, Jiraiya said. I think he's broken though. He won't stop crying. It's probably because he's hungry. Hungry? We just fed him 3 hours ago. Tsunade nodded. Yeah, and we gotta feed him again. Dang, how many times a day does a baby need to eat? Jiraiya asked. 8 to 12. Jiraiya's eyes widened. How is he not fat yet? Tsunade giggled. They don't actually eat all that much. It seems like they do, but frankly, what they eat is about the same as a tablespoon of ketchup to you. So it seems like a lot for their size, but really it's not that much in the long run. Adults take in nearly 4 times as many calories a day. They just tend to spread it out over 3 or 4 meals, while babies like to spread it out from 4 to 12. Jiraiya seemed to understand. Tsunade went off to get the formula ready. Mixing the powder in with the warm water, she stirred it well and then checked to make sure that the milk wasn't too hot. Bringing it back, she gave it over to Jiraiya. Here, she said. Jiraiya found a chair to sit in, got Naruto into position, took the bottle and put it to his mouth, where he reached out, grabbed it and pulled it to his lips. Damn, he was really hungry. Surprising, huh? She questioned as she watched him. He put a cloth over his shoulder and rested the baby on it and began to gently rub its back, while properly supporting the head and neck. Switching to rubbing before repositioning, he finally heard that small burp and knew everything was okay. He bounced with the baby a little longer before standing still for a bit. Laying Naruto back in the crib, he raised the bars up slowly and clicked them into place. You know, you're really good with babies. I'm surprised actually, she said. Why? He questioned. Well, I mean, you acted like you needed our help, so I'm just a bit surprised, that's all, she said. I've been around for a good few years. This isn't my first time with a baby, just my first time raising one. What about those kids back in Ame? Tsunade asked. Jiraiya stood there for a while. I didn't do well enough, he said. You know what happened isn't your fault, right? They had already chosen their path. You merely taught them the things they needed to know to survive. I think you did do well enough, and if you asked them, I'm sure they would have said the same. Jiraiya shrugged. Enough of this sad talk. I need to actually get some sleep, he said. Stumbling back into the living room, his hands on his back, Tsunade spoke up. Your back still hurting you? He looked back. Yeah, just an old injury. Why don't you sleep on the bed, she asked. With pasty? Nah, I'd rather die, I think. She walked up behind him and wrapped her arms around his shoulders. No, silly, I mean, with me? Jiraiya was confused. I thought you didn't want that, he said. She smiled. I normally wouldn't, but let's say a very certain side of me really admires a man who knows how to take care of a baby, she said. So come on. Pulling him back with her, Jiraiya pumped his fist. Score! The next day, Jiraiya woke up alone to the sounds of crying. He wanted to sleep more, but knew if he didn't get up now, then he would miss noontime, which would probably disturb his sleep for the next few days. So, getting up, he threw on whatever felt good and exited the bedroom into the baby's room to see Tsunade bouncing the baby around and lightly singing some nursery rhyme. Naruto was crying pretty hard. His little eyes only stopped squinting when Jiraiya walked in. It seemed he did this only to get a glimpse of who was there. He then proceeded to return to crying. What's wrong with him? Jiraiya said. It's feeding time. He's just a little grumpy, I think, she said. Stepping outside, he saw Orochimaru warming up a bottle. The pale-skinned man took the bottle up and stepped back into the room, offering it to Tsunade, who put the bottle into the baby's mouth. Naruto began to suck on it, all the while Tsunade gently wiped the tears away from his eyes. There we go, who's a little happy camper? You are, yes you are, she said in baby talk, which drew a glance from Orochimaru and Jiraiya. I take it you're enjoying this now, Jiraiya said. Looking back, she tried to hide it behind a scowl, but it was obvious that she did really like it. As the three of them continued to take care of the baby, Tsunade got the great idea to go out and look for some more toys and clothes for Naruto. Dragging Jiraiya with her, she left Naruto in the hands of Orochimaru. You know that kid's gonna end up half snake before we get back, right? He said with a chuckle. Hush. Orochimaru's actually frighteningly capable when it comes to taking care of children. I would have never guessed he'd be a perfect nanny. Getting to the store, Tsunade ran up Hiruzen's charge card, getting all sorts of cute little outfits for Naruto and little toys he could play with. She seemed to be getting really excited, all the while Jiraiya just watched on with a smile. Deciding to go out and get something to eat, they stopped by a restaurant and ordered 3 meals to go before stopping at an ice cream shop upon Jiraiya's request. You're gonna ruin your appetite, Tsunade said. Jiraiya waved it off. Pshaw, everyone knows we've all got a little paradise compartment in our stomachs for ice cream, he said. Get something with me. It's the least you can do for dragging me with you everywhere today. Tsunade sighed. Fine, but we're getting a popsicle or something. Something mostly frozen water and flavoring. Got it. 2 blue raspberry popsicles, please. As they sat at the table enjoying their popsicles, Jiraiya spoke. You really are enjoying taking care of Naruto, aren't you? Tsunade shrugged. It's alright, I guess, she said. Alright? Only alright? Come on, Sue. It's gotta be more than alright if you're standing out here squealing over new outfits and toys. I've never seen you like this before, he said. Tsunade looked out the window and shook her head. Jiraiya followed her gaze and saw a little family of 3 across the road enjoying their own ice creams. A mom, a dad, and a daughter. You know, before Dawn died, we talked a lot about getting married. We talked about what we wanted to do in our lives, and if or when we might like to have children. He wanted a little boy, of course, and I wanted a little girl, but honestly, I would have been happy no matter what we got. But the point was, we wanted to have a little family of our own sometime, but then, well, I guess you know what happened. Jiraiya nodded. He thought back on how destroyed she was when Dawn died. Jiraiya watched the heartbreaking scene personally. It was one thing for your lover to die, but to die in your arms, that was a whole other level of cruel. Even Orochimaru thought this. Jiraiya had never seen Orochimaru cry before. That was the first time he'd ever witnessed it. Tsunade spoke. I thought for sure I'd have a family of my own by now, that I could retire from service and just be a full-time mom. But now I'm so close to my 40s that I just don't think I'll ever get that chance. Men don't have an age limit on how long they can have children, but as a woman, my window is limited, and well, it's just about closed, she said. I always wanted a baby, but the only person I could ever see myself having one with is dead. So I guess there's no point in this window even being open anymore. Jiraiya thought he spotted a hint of tear in the corner of her eye. His hand reached out to hers and gently latched on, not to tell her not to give up, nor to tell her that she needed to snap out of it, no. His hand merely latched onto hers to tell her that he was still here, and he was listening. After this, the two went home, excited to get Naruto into one of the new outfits. As soon as they opened the door, they were surprised by what they saw. Dishes were broken on the floor, wooden chairs were smashed, cushions had springs sticking out of them, curtains torn and ripped. A disheveled Orochimaru was standing there, holding a dripping wet, nude Naruto by the ankles. Looking up at the group, he spoke. I can explain. Jiraiya looked around. Yeah, you probably should, bud. Orochimaru cleared his throat. Naruto doesn't like bath time. And that's where I plan to call it for now. I hope you all enjoyed this little video. I always did wonder why Jiraiya, being Naruto's godfather, never actually seemed to adopt him until he was like 12. Beyond that, I really kind of felt like writing a sort of slice of life story that was also somewhat fish out of water comedy, not too unlike the movie 3 Men and a Baby. But instead of it being about drugs and a baby, it's about ninjas and a baby. If you all enjoyed this story, be sure to let us know in the comments. Let us know what other ideas you might like to see from us in the future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when more videos like this release. And while you wait for those, check out these other great videos from our channel. They're great! Until next time, peace out.